Patrick, and welcome to some more Tesla news. It's been a while, but let's get started with some of the fresh stuff, and we'll kind of work our way a little bit backwards. So Elon was tweeting out last night, and it caught my attention that there's going to be a lot more games coming to the Teslas once they finish porting Unity and the Unreal Engine. So these are the gaming engines that basically all major games are based on, especially the ones that are multi-platform. So the games like Mortal Kombat 11, which is on like the Switch, Xbox, PlayStation, PC. And he also noted that it's an x86 computer in the new UMCs. So I imagine this was only going to work on the newer Teslas that have been out since the Model 3, where they switched that UMC chip. Someone commented, "Hey, can I make my own games?" And Elon replied, "Sure." So that means that third-party apps, which Tesla said they were going to do a long time ago and never did, might actually be coming at least for video games. Elon's really adamant that they want there to be a racing game that uses the steering wheel and pedals like Pole Position used to before it got pulled for copyright reasons. In the new Tesla firmware update, 2019.16, they've updated the visuals. The rendering either zooms in or zooms out on the Autopilot display depending on the speed. So it's cool when you're parked, it shows above like it normally does, but instead of just switching really quick, it actually kind of like zooms in and goes behind the car. It's a really cool looking visual. And then there's a lot of little details, like when it's raining, you can see little water dots on the car, and when you're going at higher speeds, it zooms out so you can see all the cars around you. And it's amazing the amount of cars that Autopilot can see now with the latest update. Elon says they're almost done with Advanced Summon, that he is personally testing it out this weekend. So hopefully he'll be able to keep his promise this time of it coming out at the end of the month. He said it was almost done back in November, and then he was waiting on regulatory approval. We got the regulatory approval, and he said it would just be a few weeks, and then they pushed it out to the early access program, and that's when we started seeing videos of it in action. And people noted that it was pretty slow and more of a parlor trick, not terribly useful. Personally, I think it is incredibly cool. I mean, the car is driving itself out of a parking spot and coming to exactly where you are. And I think it would be fun to test it out by like dropping that pin while you're inside the car, 150 feet at a time to get it to drive you around. It may be just limited to parking lots, like real roads it might not go on. And it's so slow, I imagine it would cause an accident. But anyways, Advanced Summon coming soon, so can't wait for that. Since my last video, they started doing leasing on the Tesla Model 3s. And one of the big deals was they lowered the lease payment down to $399 with a little bit of an increase on how much money you have to put down. But basically, you can get the standard range plus Tesla Model 3 that has Autopilot, 240-mile range, and it's less than $400 a month, which is pretty awesome. It does require $4,500 down, but if you had a reservation way back in the day from $1,000, that gets applied to it. I personally drive too much to do a lease, so I don't know if it's the best deal for me. It's a 10,000-mile lease, but it's definitely an option, especially for people that don't drive more than 10,000 miles in a year. The biggest catch is you don't get to keep the car even if you wanted to. At the end of the lease, they're saying right now you have to turn it in because they're going to use it as part of their robo-taxi fleet. We'll see about that. They may still let you buy it, but there might be some kind of penalty or something at the end of it. Speaking of the robo-taxis and the full self-driving, Elon says that Teslas will be appreciating assets now instead of depreciating because of the updates to the Autopilot and the full self-driving. In fact, they're doing it now. They're starting to raise the price of full self-driving. They did it this month, and they're probably going to do it again. So if you're really excited about full self-driving, probably not the time to wait. Like before, we were thinking, probably wait because the software is not done. And then the new hardware wasn't 100% done. But now that supposedly this new full self-driving hardware that's coming out this summer, and then is already in the new cars, if you ordered one now, is 100% ready for full self-driving. And Elon gave an update on the cross-country trip. Now, they were supposed to go from like LA to New York a year or two ago, And then Elon said, well, we were going to kind of game the system, drive the route, and we could have made it work. But then we decided, no, that's not really a good showcase of what we could do, and that it really needed to be from anywhere to anywhere, and that it's not a pre-programmed route. So they delayed it and delayed it. And now he's saying it's going to happen this year, and at the same time they're going to release the software to everybody. So once they have it ready for everybody, they'll do that demo, and anybody will be able to do it at the same time, which, you know, obviously you're going to have to be able to keep your hand on the wheel because of regulatory, but man, that's going to be exciting. Hopefully they make that target. I know it's been like this distant goal that they've been aiming for, and it seems like it's never coming, but the newest releases of firmware, the Autopilot is really good. I think it's going to happen, and that autonomy day that they had, they really showcased what is possible and how they're going to avoid a lot of things like potholes and a lot of variables that seem impossible at this point, but with the newer neural nets, they're going to be able to account for. And speaking of which, they're pushing out more Autopilot updates, and there was one earlier this month where they added things like letting you know if you're departing a lane even when Autopilot's not on, which is pretty cool. I had it happen to me and I was like, what the heck is going on? Same thing with stoplights. If you're on Autopilot and you're about ready to run a stoplight, it'll let you know, like, emergency, hurry up and stop the car. Another thing that caught my eye was this electric article on a new sunroof with electrical tint and integrated lighting system. Now, I've been thinking about doing this for my Model X for years, and I even looked into it. You can get electrical tinting film, and you could put it inside the car, but it's kind of weird. Like, you have to have a constant electrical power going to it to change the tint. So there'd be a drain on the battery, you know, if you wanted it to turn dark, I think, and if you want to go clear, then there'd be no electrical tint. So like, it would get hot when it's parked, or it would waste energy. So I guess it depends on how much energy it uses, and they're talking about in this patent also putting LEDs in there so you can change the lighting in the car from the roof, and it'd be like a nice subtle light, a really soft light across the whole car. I think it's great. It's a patent. They may never integrate it, but when or if they do, that'll be pretty cool. Last but not least, a lot of videos coming out from Tesla Dashcams and Sentry Mode. People getting caught vandalizing Teslas, going around kicking them, keying them, just bad stuff. But the people are in the video; they're able to be identified. I think it's great, and I don't know if it's because I have a Tesla channel, but all of a sudden people have been sending me cameras. Like, I got this weird little Osio. It's like a $100 camera. It's got a front and back camera built into it, and it seemed to work pretty good. This other company sent me one. This Peta. I can't say the names of these. I'll be putting out videos on these two cameras, comparing them to the Tesla Model 3 and its built-in dash cam. For cameras under $100, even around $50, they actually fare really good, and they have a wider angle. So if you have an older Tesla that doesn't have a dash cam, you're not missing out by much in getting your own little camera. You don't have to spend $250 on a black view. These more generic ones are pretty decent. I also got some other things sent to me, and I'm going to be doing some giveaways, so please stay tuned and subscribe if you haven't yet. I'm almost at 10,000 views. I've been saying that for a month now, but I'm really just a couple hundred away. Thank you guys so much for subscribing if you have, and if you haven't, please do. Click the little notification bell to know whenever a new video is coming out, and I will see you guys again soon.